Gremlins! Today I'm covering another aesthetic, and once again this aesthetic was requested by one of you. Thank you very much for the suggestion. This aesthetic is Cute Core, which is also known as Cute Gore. This aesthetic wasn't actually on my radar before I was suggested it. Also, before I get started, trigger warnings for mild gore and creepy imagery, and some brief allusions to childhood trauma. Cute Core is an online aesthetic that involves kawaii, or cute and girly, imagery, but with hints of gore and a darker side to the cuteness. Originally it was called Cute Gore, but the term Cute Core was adopted instead to avoid social media censorship of the word gore. The term Cute Core actually predates this interpretation of the aesthetic. Originally it was used to describe hardcore music with kawaii visuals or themes. In 2020, Cute Core began to be used to describe the aesthetic I'm covering today. Cute Core is a primarily visual aesthetic. A lot of Cute Core visuals are either heavily edited pictures of characters or real people, with pixelation, glitch effects, shadows, hearts, blood, and blacked out eyes. Another common type of photograph is a photograph of a bedroom filled with cute posters, plushies, and other kawaii visuals, but in shadow, or with creepy dark figures in the corners and blood on the walls. One of the bases for this aesthetic is the idea of childhood imagery and media being corrupted. Sometimes this is just for the shock value of a childhood character being made creepy and horrifying. Other times it has a deeper meaning, such as themes of childhood itself being corrupted through trauma. In fact, there is a lot of overlap between Cute Core and Trauma Core, an aesthetic I do not plan on covering due to the sensitivity of the topic. Some of the kawaii visuals included in Cute Core are cute foods like strawberries, cakes, and ice cream, pastel colors, famous kawaii characters like Hello Kitty, and cutesy pixel art. Also common are indistinct human-shaped shadows, bloody handprints, wounds or signs that someone has been injured, raw meat, glitch effects, and scratch marks. As Cute Core is primarily visual, and in photographs and edits, the aesthetic wiki does not have a fashion section. However, between Pinterest and my own interpretation of the blend between creepy and kawaii, I've come up with my own list of outfits and clothing pieces that could work for this aesthetic. Most of a Cute Core outfit is made up of kawaii fashion staples, like oversized sweaters and cardigans, stripy tights, leg warmers, and lots of childlike accessories like hair clips, stickers, and jewelry. Some ideas to bring a darker theme to an outfit would be to add small amounts of fake blood to hems or sleeves, wear jewelry that includes knives or hypodermic needles, or slightly rip and rumple the clothing. I gave this character a very similar outfit to a lot of the Cute Core outfits I saw on Pinterest, which looks mostly kawaii except for in subtle details. She has an oversized cardigan over a pleated skirt, with striped tights and leg warmers. One of her tights is falling down, crumpled just above the leg warmer band. There's a band-aid on her knee and another over her nose as an accessory. Her hair is messy, with half a dozen mismatched hair clips clipped to her choppy bangs. A couple of the darker elements of her design are also visible here. She has knife earrings and tear marks on her face that are black with running mascara or eyeliner. I also decided to pose her with one hand over her face, an eye peeking out between her fingers. Her fingers are twisted into her bangs. Instead of placing all the flat colors before adding any shading, I shaded the jewelry as I drew it, specifically the metal of her choker spikes and the knife blade, as well as the razor blade she's wearing as a necklace. Doing it in this order helps me avoid forgetting to add metallic shading, which I've done a few times on different drawings. I also shaded the hair as soon as it was colored before moving on to the clothing. Her outfit is almost entirely pink and white, colors that read as cute and girly, which will also show blood splat as well. This is the second time I've colored this all. Unfortunately, once again my recording failed. However, this time I'm pretty sure I've identified the problem. I just keep running out of space on my computer. I keep forgetting to delete old screen recordings from previous weeks, and these videos are hours long, they take up a lot of space. I completed all the specialty shading, the hair, skin, and metal, which all get individual shading attention, but before adding the final shading to the rest of the character, I began to work on the background. I tried a few sketches of backgrounds before deciding that this character would be standing on one side of their bed, an open doorway visible on the other side of the room behind them. I wanted to draw on the creepy images of kawaii bedrooms often present in Cute Core. Most of the room looks safe and comforting, with plushies on the bed and posters on the wall, but there's also a shadow visible through the doorway. The plushies themselves are also a little bit creepy. I saw a few examples of upcycled plushies on Pinterest, and as I love the concept of plushies being made a little bit alternative, I gave this character 2 of those types of plushie. The rabbit is still pretty basic, just with an X'd out eye and visible stitching on its stomach and paws. The teddy bear behind it, though, has 3 eyes and corset laces up its front. I've designed a DIY plushie like these, but more extreme, before, as a t-shirt graphic, and if you like these designs, you might want to check it out on my Etsy. The final plushie on the bed isn't DIY'd, it's a skeleton plushie similar to ones I've seen online, a very round cartoon cat skeleton. I didn't put a lot of detail into the rest of the bed. It has a pink doona that trails onto the floor in what I conceived of as ruffles but are more just folds. The pillow and sheets are fluffy and white. Things get more interesting behind the bed. There's a mirror on the wall, which I just realized I planned to add a bloody handprint to, but completely forgot. There are also a cluster of posters, artwork, and photographs taped to the wall, beside an open doorway leading into a dark hallway. There's something almost human in the hallway, a blurry shadow with glowing eyes. It was in this stage of the drawing that I realized I forgot to add blood splatters to my character's clothing, so I went back to add some blood to her sleeves, collar, the hem of her cardigan, and her skirt. I might have overdone it a little bit, but blood is really fun to draw. I returned to the background to draw the mirror, giving it a simple gold frame. I didn't draw any reflections, just leaving the mirror silver to give myself a bit of a break. I keep giving characters posters in the background and then realize that I have to draw a bunch of art to fill those posters. Even more of a problem for me in this particular image, I am terrible at drawing in an anime style, and most Cute Gore artwork is anime. I attempted to draw a colorful anime girl, then immediately backtracked and instead made a charcoal-looking sketch of a girl surrounded by glowing hearts. Below that poster, there was another attempt at an anime girl that was so shameful I fully cut it out of the video, instead drawing a cute bear holding a giant strawberry. His eyes have been X'd out with a red pencil. The next picture is just a glitch texture. As these posters get smaller, I put less effort in. I just need to fill space with something. All these will be blurred in the background anyway. There's also a photograph of this character next to her girlfriend, a small pastel pride flag, an image that's just blood splatter, a collection of halftones, and some patterned paper. I made the background darker as this is an image set at night with only just enough light in the room to light the character, not her surroundings. I then began adding shadows to the bedspread, floor, and the plushies. I cut out the 10 minutes of waiting for my blending brush to finish doing its thing on the bedspread. Finally, I got back to the character, adding the rest of her shading. I'm actually proud of the wrinkles and shading on the leg warmers and tights. It's always about a 50-50 chance of me liking or hating the fabric wrinkles I draw. In fact, most of the clothing shading worked really well, including the cardigan, which I was a bit worried about. Oversized clothing wrinkles are the hardest for me generally. Finally, I added a vignette to the image, adding to the shadowy and disturbing undertones of this aesthetic. I add vignettes to almost all my art, but in this case, it works thematically. Going into this drawing, I wasn't sure about Cute Gore. It's very different to anything I've covered before, and wasn't an aesthetic I'd even heard of. However, I had a lot of fun with this drawing, especially all her accessories. I'm super happy with the result, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did, please consider liking this video and subscribe to help me get to 500 subscribers. Until next time, bye!